Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's World Math Day, Tony. You don't like doing math, do you?
Sometimes I like it. In fact, I just added our ages together and I came up with 312, Mike. 312.
I like 312. That's a good number for Chicagoans. Tony, anybody who wrote for a living professionally like we did, we're obliged to hate math. I'm bad at it and I hate it.
I am bad at it and I hate it. It taught me two things: figure out batting average and figure out ERA, and other than that, it was useless to me. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Damian Lillard goes out, Alex Ovechkin scores again, and Tim Kurkjian joins us ahead of baseball's opening day. But we begin today with the NFL and free agent signings. Quarterback Russell Wilson has signed a one-year deal with the New York Football Giants. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs has signed a 3-year deal with the New England Patriots. Wilbon, you've been studying the draft boards and all the NFL offseason moves. I know you.
Yeah.
So which of these signings is the bigger deal?
Russell Wilson, there's no hesitation. He's a quarterback. He gets the ball every snap. Stephon Diggs, who's been terrific in the NFL. Look, what, 5 or 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons. We had Stephon Diggs local for us. We know how impactful he can be, but he's a dependent player. And he's dependent in a situation we don't know. While the New England Patriots seem to have a fine young quarterback, we don't know that for sure. Russell Wilson is at least going to start the season getting every snap until he's injured. I hope he's not, or benched and replaced by Jameis Winston. It's Russell Wilson. And by the way, Tone, I don't know that either of them will have actual impact anymore. You get to a point in football where injuries start to, make you decline from the form that might have been a Hall of Fame form for each of these gentlemen when they were in their 20s. But now I think we're going to wind up with Russell Wilson saying every week people are going to be looking at, because he's in New York, is Russ going to turn the Giants around? If he has 2 good games in a row, people are going to go crazy and start comparing him to some Eli Manning season. But ultimately, it's going to be like, 8-9 or 9-8, if that.
It's not even going to be that. And I would say to you from the top, I don't believe that either of these signings is important at all. I mean, I think getting Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal is almost meaningless. The Giants stink. Can he make them a little bit better? Maybe marginally better. He lost his last 5 games last year as a starter for Pittsburgh, 5 in a row. He's had 3 bad seasons in a row. And this is a 1-year deal. So, I mean, it feels to me like he's a placeholder for whoever the next quarterback is going to be on the Giants. They either draft him this year or they draft him next year.
And by the way, GM, whoever the next coach
well, that's what I'm going to get to. Because if they win 3 or 4, which is what people think, everybody's out. GM is out, coach is out, quarterback is out. So by default, I think it's Stephon Diggs. And now he's going to be on his 3rd team in 3 years. And as you alluded to, as good as he is, he gets hurt a lot lately. And he's probably closer to his prime, than Russell Wilson is. But they stink too. New England's a terrible team. New England won 4 games last year. The Giants won 3. So it's essentially a coin flip. We're a long way from Tom Brady against Eli Manning for those teams, right? I know you don't want to hear this. The only free agent signing that means anything is Aaron Rodgers now. We're talking about this today because it's a slow news day.
He didn't mean anything either, because he'll be wildly overstated.
If we had Sweet 16 games last night, these 2 people wouldn't be in the show. Let's move to the NBA. Milwaukee's point guard Damian Lillard will be out for an indefinite amount of time because of deep vein thrombosis in his right calf. This is a blood clot situation, perhaps similar to the one that has sidelined Victor Wembanyama for the rest of this season. Wilbon, what does this mean for Lillard and for the Bucks?
Well, I know, Tony, I get a sense from talking to people around the league that the Bucks are more optimistic. They're optimistic that Dame will be able to hopefully get back and play in the upcoming playoffs at the very least, maybe even sooner. But even though there are only 10 or 11 games left in the regular season for most teams, for the Bucks, they have to have Dame Lillard. And the Bucks have been undone by injuries since winning a championship in 2021, and it's been Giannis. I mean, essentially, it's been Giannis multiple times, even though brief injuries in the postseason, missed 2 games in the playoffs. Oops, they're down in a series. They can't come back. And they got Dame Lillard to be with Giannis, and when they're out there together, they lead the league, I believe, in scoring as a tandem. I mean, these guys are up there, Tony. They're like 55 or 56 points a game, maybe more than that between the two of them. But if you don't have Dame whole, you're not going to win. They're just going to be getting Bobby Portis back, we guess, presumably. You got to have a whole team out there, even in the East, because you're not catching Cleveland and Boston and maybe not even the Knicks, maybe not even the Pacers if you don't have Dame Lillard.
So we have no timeline here. He could be out for 3 games. He could be out for 3 months. We have no assurances here. I'm going to go differently than you, and I'm going to assume it's going to be longer rather than shorter. And if that is the case, it's a terrible blow to Milwaukee because he is their second leading scorer. He's getting them almost 25 points a game. Where are they going to get that from? Sidney Moncrief is not walking through that door. And in terms of what happens personally here, if I'm not mistaken, Dame Lillard will be 35 years old this summer. That is the end of middle age, maybe the beginning of old age in the NBA. He has never won a ring. He has never been to a finals. He has been to 1 conference finals with Portland in 2019 and got swept out. So if this is a lingering, debilitating injury, Mike, this could be the end of his career. I'm not saying the Bucks are really good right now, but after the 2-8, there's something like 38-23. But you take him out, they're done. It's not sustainable.
Gotta have him. That's why they went and made that deal. And Dame Lillard still has that kind of impact. We see when they got to those conference finals about 6 years ago, got swept by Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond and the Warriors. I mean, Dame was what that team had. And so now he's trying to make that push to get to that finals that you mentioned he hasn't been to yet. And I hope we see him out there. And now to the NHL. And last night's matchup between the top 2 teams in the NHL. The East leading Washington Capitals pushed the West leading Winnipeg Jets to overtime when Alex Ovechkin scored from essentially his spot with 4 minutes to play in regulation. But the Jets won on a partial breakaway in OT. So, Tone, is the headline, the Jets winning this game or Ovechkin scoring a goal in this game?
So you're asking me to put on the newspaper sports writer hat that both of us have worn for many years, and I will do that. And so I will say that this is a possible preview of the NHL Stanley Cup Final because Winnipeg is ahead in its conference and Washington is ahead in its conference. This is the second and last regular season game they will play, and both games went to overtime, and Winnipeg won both games. So under normal circumstances,